AskReddit by Sark1. What's the craziest thing you've seen a neighbor do? Get arrested for being a serial killer. Who? Caught my neighbor watering their plastic plants in the middle of a rainstorm. Stuff you'd see in a horror movie. Peep in our window. I have apologized for that on numerous occasions. I really thought you had stolen my cat again. Mine was cutting bushes wearing shorts, wife beater and a top hat. Ever since then he is known as Top Hat Guy. Brendan Urie is taking retirement well. Trim the lawn, but by hand. He was out there for hours. I've done this before. So has my mum. Just small areas though, not a huge yard or anything. I used to do it when I lived in a unit that had a small patch of grass at the bottom of the stairs. Apparently it was on the tenants to maintain it. I didn't have anywhere to store a mower or whippersnipper and I doubt either would have fit in the space anyway. So I cut it by hand with scissors whenever it got too long. It's very therapeutic. Running naked down the street, screaming he was trying to kill her. He was her 15-year-old son who was following with a bathrobe, begging her to put it on. Yep, she was on meth. Why do you ask? Poor kid. Walked out one day to pick all my kids' toys up before I mowed and discovered the neighbor lady was wearing sunglasses and bottoms, tanning in the sun. She was couch leather brown, in her mid-60s and looked like Gary Busey in a platinum blonde wig. Later found out that they had their own tanning bed in their garage. Guess she just enjoyed the air and sprinkler she had fired up. Like Magda from Something About Mary. Get drunk, drive home and nearly murder my cousin who was taking out the trash. I then watched my uncle beat the shit out of him and then sit on him until the cops came. Power washes every day for 8 hours a day. My condolences. Seriously. Cut his grass naked on his riding lawnmower. Hey neighbor. The place was a dump and he got a beat up old Firo and told everyone it was a Ferrari. He was so fat that he couldn't fit in it, so he parked it in the front yard and would squish himself into it and sit with the door open and his leg out and just rev it for hours. They also picked up a deer they found that got hit by a car and told everyone they hunted it. Proceeded to gut it and hang it by the big tree in the front yard by the road. Arms and legs spread, guts out. It was horrid. Arms and legs? I think that was a person. Have a threesome. Heard one guy tell the nice lady to bend over so I can fuck your ass and her decline. I decided to help the guy out and played Afromans. She won't let me fuck with a stereo in the window. Then the nice lady left. Set up his lawn chair and cooler on the side of a busy road during rush hour traffic with a sign saying you honk, I drink. Wearing black socks, sandals and shorts. No shirt. He was one weird dude. And then? Banging his girlfriend in the living room thinking their curtain would conceal them but was totally sheer in backlight. To be clear, he's a massive arsehole and also, apparently, very hairy. So it looked like a Yeti mating. He tried to steal our car. We didn't talk to him for nearly 10 years. He wanted to make amends. A couple months later he stole our son's bicycle to get to the bar. He thought it would be okay because he can't afford another dwee. A guy in my tiny hometown got a DUI after riding a bicycle into a dumpster. Way back, growing up, our neighbor decided that her dog was vegan. So she fed it a vegan diet. Then the dog decided that that was stupid and ate the fish in their garden pond. Not sure if she got the hint. Washed her fence in her bathrobe at 3 AM on a weeknight. When I was a kid, like 5-7, I saw my neighbor beat a man nearly to death with a shovel. He regularly had seizures, and my parents always told me if I see him drop to the floor, do not try to help him. No matter what, either go to his house and tell his parents or come home and tell us. Well, Someone who didn't regularly get that speech must have seen him go down and tried to help him. I know nothing about seizures or brain trauma, but apparently trying to wake him out of the seizure caused a blind violent rage. I heard the commotion while raking leaves and saw him standing over an obviously unconscious man, bashing his face in with a shovel. I definitely thought he was dead, but from what my parents told me, he needed facial reconstruction surgery and ended up with brain damage. I don't know which neighbor, but there was this dumpster behind my apartment. One day during a whiteout blizzard, someone pulled up in a battered white van and began hastily dumping garbage bags into the dumpster, then drove off. Naturally we went and checked, thinking there were going to be all kinds of criminal evidence. They were filled with old clothes like you might take to Goodwill. All 6 bags. Probably full of bed bugs. Had a heart attack. But in the middle of nowhere. Dad took a door off of a building, taped him down on it as a backboard, threw him the back of the pickup and had someone drive them to town while Dad did CPR in the back. Your old man is a pretty solid dude. And nobody say my wife. Drunk old neighbor revving his old V8 in the backyard on Christmas Day. He's knocked it into reverse and reversed at full speed into his open back shed. He took out one of the posts and lodged the car in there. Somehow started a small fire. I heard it all. His elderly wife was in complete panic. He was just sitting there trying to comprehend what had just happened. We got him out of the car. I grabbed the garden hose, put out the fire and went home. Now this was not the first time I had to help out. I've called the ambulance because he reached under the mower when it was running, didn't lose anything but definitely needed medical attention. Also for falling off a ladder when it was raining while he was cleaning his guttering out. Crazy old Derek. His sister OD'd and died. You watched him OD? Throw a whole Macumba sanctuary on the sidewalk of the street in front of mine.